All right. Good morning. Actually, almost good morning. Pushing all the live buttons right now. So we'll give that a second. Okay. Live in the Facebook group, which if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this in the replay, thank you for being here. This is for you, and this is for you to help you grow your art business and learn sales, communication, marketing, or really marketing, communication, and sales. Like that is what the Art of Selling Arts program's foundations are built on. And these coaching over coffee events are just a chance for me to come in and help more broadly everybody. So I have a bunch of questions that were submitted through email about over the last week or so that I figured I would just get to here in this format. So welcome to that. And instead of coffee today, I'm drinking V8, which is surprisingly like I remember growing up being afraid of this stuff, but now it's really good. All right. So if you're watching on Facebook, say hello in the chats. I see there's like 4 of you here. So far, we just started. I'm going to get into some of the questions that people have asked. And if you have any questions, you can drop them into the comments and we will just kind of plug away. I'm just here to hang out for a half hour, see who I can help, and see who is going to show up for their art business today. All right. Now, before I get started, I want to share a few announcements that are really kind of pressing inside of Art of Selling Art. So number one is all of these live videos from our Facebook group, all these live trainings on lead magnets, on how to make the Art of Selling Art membership free, which is basically this one right here is a strategy on how to sell your art right now without gaining more leads and without going out and trying to market yourself, but using your existing audience. All of these videos, there's like a dozen of them, they're all getting deleted in June. Not by me, but by Facebook. And so Facebook is changing their policies on how long they keep live videos. Like here's a whole one on blockchain, 147 comments. People were pretty hot about that. Everything about algorithm, discounting your art, when to do it and how to do it. All of this stuff is going away in June because Facebook is lightening the load on how much data they are hanging on to. So you have hours of learning. Here's a 13-minute sales training available for free. How to write artist statements, how to name your art. That is all going to disappear really, really soon. So if you are wanting to take advantage of some really solid free stuff, then this is all available inside our Facebook group. And some of it has been posted to YouTube. So if you're watching this on the YouTubes, or if you follow our YouTube channel, The Art of Selling Art, you can also find some of these here, but they are being removed from Facebook. The other thing I wanted to share for everyone that's here and for everyone who shows up in the next few minutes is that the art pricing blueprint is now available for everyone, right? The art pricing blueprint is not loading for some reason. It's 6 modules. It starts out with mindset and goes into, I'm just going to resource that page. It starts out with mindset and goes into 3 pricing strategies with 2 sort of additional support structures for developing your art prices. It goes into prices and strategies for delivering your prices to collectors, how to overcome objections, how to basically everything you need in order to start pricing your art in a way that's competitive and sustainable for your art business, right? Like if you want, is that something that you think would help you if you could price your art and not worry about whether you're overpriced or underpriced, right? This is one of the biggest questions, or one of the questions I'm asked most often. And this is, I made it for you guys, right? So pricing conversations and handling objections. When someone says your price is too high, what do you say? When someone is asking, when you're writing your emails and you're sharing your posts, how do you communicate value in your marketing so that the price is expected, right? So they think they're getting what they are investing in, right? For some reason, I can't get this to load. Maybe it's because I'm live and it knows I'm live and it doesn't want to show gated content. But 6 modules, it's about 2 hours to implement, and it's going to align everything that you have, all of the pricing that you need to apply to your business so that you can actually make some money. Right. And this also includes, when we talk about understanding your income goals and your costs, what does it cost you to make the amount of money you want to make? So when I got started, people were like, or I was like, I want to make 100,000, right? I want to make 6 figures with my art. And then I think at the end of one year, it was like October or something, I was like, oh, wait a second, I made 6 figures, but why aren't I living like a rich person? Right. Because that's what I thought would happen if I made 6 figures. But the cost of doing business, the cost of showing up at art shows, the cost of producing my work, the cost of saving money or applying it to your retirement saving plans, all of that comes out of your 100K. So what do you actually need to make in order to achieve your goals? So understanding all of those costs so you can add them to the back of your income generation goals, so you can create a pricing plan that makes more sense, right? So that's available right now. If you want the link to that, just leave a comment in wherever you're watching this. Just type in Blueprint and someone will send you the link to that training. Okay, so let me check this over here. All right, so I got a handful of questions to go through, and if you guys have questions or comments about any of these topics, this would be a great place to get an answer from me live or get an answer from me while I'm paying attention. All right, so let me just go through this list. I have like 12. I'm just going to pick a few and just rant on them. Right? Do you need a website? Right? This is a question I get a lot, and I feel like I get this question, do you need a website, the most when people don't want to do the work in creating a website. So what happens, what do you get when you create a website? Right? What you get is the ability to control the experience of your buyer. Right? So if we go to, let's say, my social media here, I'll share my screen again. If we go to my socials, we go to Instagram, and I'll go to my own, because this is it's my tacit Instagram. All right, so if you go to my Instagram, you get a smattering of content. Right? You get 3 pinned posts that kind of show you what I do and who I'm about and what I'm about and all that stuff. But then you get like a reel from traveling, and then you have some art examples, and then you have another reel that I just made because I thought it would be catchy and got attention. Same here. And then you get an article that's about a blog post that I wrote, or an article on my website, and this is a version of my article posted on social media, and it's not curated. Like, yeah, this is my best stuff and that I'm sharing on social media and whatnot, but it's not a curated experience for someone to initiate and begin a customer journey. And when you make a website, you get the power to do all of that. So my website instantly delivers my hero piece, and then it delivers that piece with my ideal client, so that my ideal buyer, my ICA, my ideal client avatar, can envision themselves with my art. And then it has a bunch of social proof, and it has a little bit about me, and then they have to click in to the website. And then I get to control every piece or every expression of my work. And so this is the Iceland collection. Like, let's say we click into this. I get to feature the artwork without any distractions, tell a story, share a video, show close-ups, share what the pieces look like in a home, pricing, everything. You can't do that on social media. So if you want to do your best to explain all of this that gets delivered here in just a split second to people via your social media DMs, then you could probably skip your website. But if you want to do that and you want to have the added authority of feeling or looking like you're established in the art space, or at least the expert in your own domain, then you bring your artwork and you develop your own website. Right? So how long does it take? I actually made this website when I was sitting on the beach in Thailand. Like literally, I traveled a lot, so I work while I travel. And I was sitting on the beach in Thailand, and I was just making my whole days sitting on a beach chair making these pages. So I can, like, we'll use this one as an example. I can create this page, take the artwork that's already finished, put in the story that's already written, and take these high res or close-ups of the larger piece of art. Create all of these interior examples. Like each page has a dozen of these, and create all of these framed examples in about 15 minutes. Because I have the templates for this. I have all of these raw images with the backgrounds. This is before we had the AI generators or the applications like Smartest or what have you. I could do this whole project, this whole page in 15 minutes. So I could do my whole website in however many pieces I have times 15 minutes a piece. So waiting to do this because it's too hard or looks like it's too big of a job is really just keeping your potential buyers from being convinced they want to buy from you. All right. So 15 minutes is all you need, right? If you're watching this right now, do you guys have a website? There's a few of you who are here watching. It's interesting that just switched for me. All right, let me dive into another one of these questions. How much time do we have? Halfway through. How often should I email my mailing list without being annoying? Okay, so there's like two questions in here. One is, how often should I email my emailing list? And the other is, how do I email my mailing list without being annoying? All right, and let's tackle those two separately. How often should you email your email list? In an ideal world, I think you should message them twice a week, minimum. 3 times a week if you're really like on the ball with your writing, right? So that's once a week you do some sort of story delivery. You could deliver a story about one of your existing pieces. You can create an article on your website and use TASA's entire content creation paradigm, where you start with an idea, create an article, create a blog post, create an email, and that sprinkles down into a whole bunch of different content pieces like TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, carousel posts, single image posts, etc. Twice a week. All right, so one post is story, one email to your email list is a story-driven email. The other email is a selling email, right? And if you think that sounds like too much, like, what do you mean by too much? Right? A lot of artists would be like, oh, that's too much. They'll say that's too much work. Well, you want to have a full-time job as an artist, then you have to start treating your time like you have a full-time job. Everybody who went from working a day job to being full-time in art, at some point there was an overlap where they were doing both jobs full-time. And you have to be willing to hustle for your dreams. Okay, so twice a week minimum to message your email list when you're on the ball. Do I do it twice a week? I have trouble keeping up that pace. I do it at least once a week. I'm sending something story-driven or something sales-driven once a week. So one email for story, one email for sales. And your sales email can really just take your story email and turn it into a sales email, which really just says, hey, do you want to buy this piece? Click this link. Or you can use a small collection, or you can use another image that you want to share that week and share that work, right? This is so important. Like, if you look at how every other business out there operates, they're in their inbox super often, right? They're in your text messages super often. And if you're not showing up the same way that people are used to being communicated to, then you're just getting forgotten about. And it's not that people don't want to buy your art. It's just that there's so many things in between them making a decision on your art and their daily lives that they just forget about you. And the only way to keep showing up is to show up often. So email deliverability, 30%. Social media deliverability, 3%. Text message, 95%. So let's exclude text. So I don't want to teach text right now. So if you have an email list let's say so my social media following is something like 14, 24, 32, like something under 50,000, like right around 50,000. And I have about 2,000, almost 3,000 people on my mailing list. Right. So there's a ratio there. So if I get a 30% deliverability on my email list of 3,000 people, that means my content hits 1,000 people's inboxes and they see it. All right. If I have a 3% deliverability rate, let me pull up a calculator on all of my social media. If I post the same content across all my channels, calculator, not calendar. Whatever, some of you probably figured this out already. 3% times 50, 1, 2, 3 equals. So that means I reach 1,500 people. So that is like the best I can do. If I put those two things together, let's say I have 55,000 people I could potentially reach because they follow me in some format. The best I can do is reach 3,000 of them total, right? And then when I share my content and I share it over, I'm not reaching the same 3,000 people all the time. So you have to keep putting it out there in order for people to discover or to connect with you, right? So that's one question, like how often should I do it? How do you do it without sounding annoying? That's the other part of that question is how do you do it without sounding annoying? Is by creating value-driven content, which means writing well, or at least having your work proofread, your writing proofread either by an AI or by a friend or a partner, and by not being too repetitive. Being a good creative writer is super important. Actually, since I'm on that topic, I will switch to and circle back. Like again, all of these videos are getting deleted in June. So pretty much you have less than 2 months to get through this content. And one of these videos is about writing. Which one is it? Writing effective copy. So this training, this video, there's 90 comments on it, right? It was a 40 minutes of me talking about being a better writer, is a great resource if you don't feel confident in your ability to write. Here is a great place for you to go and change that narrative for yourself through education, right? Okay, I have energy to do one more, and then I got to go walk the dogs, the dykes. So, okay, how do I price my work? If my work is too high or too low, check out the pricing strategy guide. I made that for you, the art pricing blueprint. Should I charge different prices for the same artwork in different sizes or mediums? This is a great question. So should I charge different prices for the same artwork in different sizes or mediums? So let's break that up. Should I charge different prices for the same artwork in different mediums? You shouldn't be sharing the same artwork in multiple mediums. Hot take, that's my opinion. You should really want your work to be displayed in a certain way and stick to it. So you either want it to be displayed on aluminum or face mounted to acrylic or on canvas. If that's the way you choose, then that's it. One, you'll reduce decision fatigue by your customer because, they won't really know the difference between the different mediums. So by offering all these different ones with very little easy to absorb information is not very helpful for them, right? So limit your mediums so that you don't have to, one, fill up your page with too many options, and two, get kind of confused between all of these different things. So, right. Okay. And then different sizes. Yeah, you should charge different prices. So if you're doing reproductions, then your reproductions, one of the pricing strategies in the blueprint is how to price reproductions, and the sizes are going to have different prices. They have different costs for you. They should have different prices. They also should all be limited in some way, right? Create that kind of scarcity. So the pricing should reflect how limited they are as well. I'll do one more because that question was kind of easy. Do I really need a huge social following to sell? No, you totally don't. I've been full-time artist since 2012, right? And my social media followings didn't really start ballooning until halfway through last year. And that's only because of the strategies that I share in TASA. What you need is the ability to reach your collectors, the ability to reach them, and then to filter through who's really interested and who's not, and then to filter through the people who are interested, who can qualify to buy your work and not. You need a system to be able to doing those three things. And it doesn't matter how many followers you have on social media as much, right? The bigger following you have, the easier it's going to be to generate leads. That is for sure, but it's not the only way to generate leads. All right. Jamie, are you here? I just saw your comment. All right, but there's two ways to generate leads. So you're either going to pay for them, which is okay because you're a business, or you're going to do it organically, which helps with the larger following. Sorry, I got a little. I think the Facebook Live is definitely like 30 minutes or 30 to 60 seconds behind. Where was I? Yeah, your social media is really about how do you generate leads. Like that's what it really comes down to, is how are you bringing in potential buyers, and not about how many people you have on social media, because they're two very different things. Okay, I think that if we don't have any live questions, that I am good on answering these. I definitely have like 2, 5, 8, a lot more to go through, but these coaching over coffees are just about 30 minutes. And oh yeah, Jamie's here. Oh, how come I didn't see any of these comments before? What's up, Morgan? What's up, Deborah? Haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Mason? I literally saw none of these comments until I just refreshed the page. Morgan says, how have I not sold one piece of art this year? You know, that's a pretty good question, Morgan. Like, why haven't you sold a piece of art? I'm going to click into your profile right now. I just said I was going to leave, but now I'm doing this. You know, my question to you is, what have you done to try to sell your art? Right? Like, if all you've done is post on social media, then that's not marketing. That's just sharing, right? Without structure, without intent. Like, I'm scrolling through your social media right now, and you have one share from some, you know, mass media site on social media, second share, third share, fourth share. Nothing about you, nothing about your own voice. You shared the same content like 5 times, actually 6 times. And then, and I guess you went on kind of a share spree about 8 hours ago. But I'm here scrolling down, and there's nothing in this Facebook feed about your own voice, or that comes from your own voice. So there's your answer. Why have you not sold your art? Is you haven't really tried to. If you're talking about social media leads, if you've done art shows, and that's a whole different story. We'd have to look at how you are trying to sell at those shows and how you're presenting and the way you're talking to people, etc. But right now, your socials, if this is your lead generation tool, you're not doing anything to actually generate leads. Right. I'm not sure if you're here or not, because this was 20 minutes ago. So I'm just like, hey, just answered your question. Oh. You thought she died? My cat's window seat just fell. The suction cup failed. All right. So Morgan just did that for you. All right. V8. Yeah, sorry I didn't see those questions or those comments from you guys. And I think that's a wrap from today. I know that this is like a minute behind, so I'll give it a few seconds to see if Morgan's still here. But it's like that's the number one question. That's my number one follow-up question to whenever someone says I haven't sold anything in a while. It's what have you actually done to try to sell your work? And did it have structure? Did it have like an outcome that was measurable? All right. All right. I'll see the members next week on the roundtable, and then we'll see about doing another coaching over coffee or V8 or energy drink or whatever I have to hand next week.